Simon wrote a comment on a previous video, the video that is called The End of Seeking and the Beginning of Finding. I will leave a link in the description to this video for reference. But Simon, he left a comment, and I think it was a very fine comment. A comment that in many ways a comment that in many ways describes the frustration that can arise out of the human conditioning. Or perhaps I should say the frustration that does arise out of the human frustration. But I wrote to Simon that instead of commenting back, I wanted to make a video where I would go through what he is writing. First, I will read the comment for you. So Simon said, and that is with reference to the video, The End of Seeking. He said, "I've watched it twice and come to this conclusion. People watch these videos, attend retreats, go to monasteries, and after 5, 10, 25 years of sitting with restlessness, they just quit. I wish this whole non-duality, enlightenment business never existed. It is yet another distraction, another business. Maybe you could start making videos about those long-term seekers who quit seeking or quit sitting with restlessness and move on with their lives. That would definitely help people stop seeking. I think this 15 seconds is not a very good strategy. One just waits 15 seconds to see that nothing changes. Other gurus have methods for 15 years. Actually, thanks for just 15 seconds. You could have made it much longer." Yeah, I could easily have made it much longer. Okay, Simon. First of all, you watched the video twice, and that is great. I know that the message within the video will do how to say it. It will do its work. It will do its however. Anyway, okay. So you have come to the conclusion that people watch these videos and they go to retreats and monasteries, and after 5, 10, or 25 years of sitting, they just quit. Okay, that's a generalization. That's a huge generalization. Yeah, some people sit. Some people sit for 5, 10, 25 years. And then they just quit and go back to life. And that is a good thing. Unless, of course, that they enjoy sitting there. But sitting with restlessness for so long, that is not joyful. And there can be a lot of reasons why the restlessness stays, why the restlessness do not dissolve. The main reason I will come back to, because you actually point toward it yourself at the end of your comment. But I agree. If someone goes to retreat or a monastery and sit for 5, 10, 25 years, I would say that even 2 years without sensing any benefits from it, then they should definitely quit and go back to their ordinary lives. What will happen then is usually that we go back to the ordinary life, and then we do that for a couple of years, and then we find out that the restlessness is still there and that the ordinary life does not work either. Then what? Then I suggest that one starts looking again at the non-duality teachings. The truth is in there. And it tries to reveal itself for every human being. But the conditioned mind is a barrier that is difficult to penetrate. And that is not a fault of the non-dual teaching. That is simply a feature of the conditioned mind. It is impossible to create a teaching that will work for everybody. And demanding that one should be able to create a teaching that would work for everybody, that is a demand from the conditioned self. And that kind of demands a spiritual teaching shall never try to fulfill that kind of demands, because it will not lead anywhere either. I wish this whole non-duality enlightenment business never existed. It is yet another distraction, another business. Yeah, I guess that the conditioned mind could make it just another distraction. But then again, the non-dual teaching in itself is not another distraction. And then we have this question about business. It seems to always surface that somehow, if there is money involved, then it is bad. Then it is greed again. Then it is just ego wanting to make money. Well, in some sense, it is understandable. That reaction, because if you watch the world, then the world is primarily driven by greed. And that gives the impression that it is impossible to run a business, to build a business, unless the motivation is greed, unless the motivation is collecting wealth. But that is so far from the truth. That is so far from the truth, just to say that because there are money involved, then it is the old greed game again. It most certainly is not. And if it is, it will eventually reveal itself. There is absolutely no problem in building a business, even a business that has to do with a non-dual teaching. A business is simply a way of making a living. Making videos, talking to people, all of that takes resources, time. And I have been able to do it so far without charging anything, and I hope to be able to do it. But at some point, depending upon how much of my resources that it demands, there will be a time I foresee that even I have to charge something to keep it going. I also have to put food on the table and pay the what is called I cannot. Oh, I'm rambling. Paying the bills. There is absolutely no problem in that. When it's seen through that greed and the wealth that you can accumulate based upon greed never would make you happy, then we can let go of it. And then we can just see it as it is. Money. It's a kind of a voucher. I have something you want, but at this time being you don't have anything that I want. So you pay me for what you want. And with the money you pay me, there is another one who has something that I want. Then I pay her with the money. And then in that way it goes on. And there are absolutely no problem with that. Unless there is greed involved. I think this 15 seconds is not a very good strategy. One just waits 15 seconds to see that nothing changes. Bullseye. That is the dilemma. One just sits 15 seconds to see that nothing changes. And then one sits 15 seconds more, 15 seconds more, and then 1 year, and then 5 years, 10 years, 25 years, waiting for something to happen. That is the dilemma, because nothing is going to happen. Waiting for something to happen is the driving force of the conditioned mind. The conditioned mind is a goal seeker. It is on a constant search for something. That is the search in itself. But then confronted with the truth like this, then the conditioned mind says, why then sit? And the answer is yes. Why then sit? The answer is yes, sit with what is. Sit with what is. And by sitting with what is, you learn to exist with what is. The conditioned mind do not understand this. You see, all the conditioned mind, all the problems that it got, the conditioned mind is pushing on these problems. It wants them to go away, and by pushing at them, at these problems, it continuously confirms towards itself I have I have these problems. Sitting with what is the end of confirming I have these problems. But then the conditioned mind says, but the problems does not go away just because I ignore them. No, the problems does not go away, but they change. They change the way they control you. You see, the conditioned mind tries to control everything. And as long as the conditioned mind tries to control everything, everything that the conditioned mind is trying to control is controlling the conditioned mind. See if you can get this. This is important. If you try to control something, then that which you try to control will be controlling you. That means that when you just sit, stop trying to control anything, then you are suddenly no longer being controlled by anything. That is freedom. And all of the tasks that you previously called problems, you'll start to look at them and you'll start to see what to do about them. Take them one at a time, patiently working your way through them without pushing on them. You will say, okay, this is how things are right now. Let's see what I can do about it. And you are no longer controlled by it. That is the frustration that arises out of all the problems. That is the frustration. The frustration is a result of you being controlled by all that you are trying to control. And that is why we just sit 15 seconds, an hour, a week, a year. We sit as long as it takes before it dawns on us that if I just surrender to this moment, to this moment, to this moment, and accept that this moment is as it is, at that very moment I am no longer controlled by external events. They don't have any power over me. They might still be there, but they don't have any power over me. So when you sit down, and then after a while you said the restlessness is still there, okay, then the restlessness is a part of this moment. Okay. You don't die because of restlessness. Yeah, okay, I get it. It's uncomfortable from time to time. But still just sit with it. You see, the restlessness continues to be there because you are pushing on it. You are trying to get rid of it. And then as long as you are pushing, it's there. But I know then you say, I know that. So I have been sitting for an hour and not pushing, and it is still there. But the remark, it is still there, that is the pushing. Changes that happens due to a non-dual understanding, they do not reveal themselves to you like this. So if you sit there waiting for something to happen, you are actually sitting and waiting for something to go, ah, now it's gone. That will never happen. Never. Never. This is how it happens. You sit down and say, okay, I will sit with my restlessness. I will sit here for 5 minutes. And when 5 minutes is over, the restlessness, it appears to still be there. Okay, no problem. Back to regular life. And then the next day you say, I will sit down again for 10 minutes with my restlessness. And then after 10 minutes, the restlessness is still there. And then back to regular life. And then the next day, 10 minutes again. And in that sense, you are training yourself. You are giving yourself full attention to the restlessness. You are saying, restlessness, it is okay to be here. And by that, you are training yourself to stop pushing. And then suddenly one day, you sit there and it dawns on you. Gee, the restlessness has no longer the same intensity. It is sort of lessening. And then you might start pushing at it again. I want the rest of it to be gone. And then it's back again. And then you start again. Sit with it. The conditioned mind complains about this. This is not satisfying. It wants a method. It wants a strategy to implement. And when this method is being implemented, it wants the results to come like this. That's not how it works. The restlessness is a result of a long time coding of the mind. And it doesn't just evaporate in a split second. It happens during a loving, quiet attention. Saying, okay, and a surrendering to the fact that the restlessness is at this moment. And when we do that, we stop fighting. We stop pushing. And the result will reveal themselves to you as a quiet dawning down the road. A quiet sensation where you suddenly notice that you are no longer being controlled in the same way anymore. And that is because you have let go of the demand to be able to control everything. And with that, everything will stop controlling you, being able to controlling you. That is peace. That is love. My friend, Simon. I guess that was the answer to you. So take care, my friend. Take care.